What's going on, everybody? Y'all already know the vibes, baby. And today we're going to be ranking our top 5 Call of Duty Cold War players throughout the entire year in the CDL. To get into number 5, it is none other than CELLIUM, the homie MC, the flex player for Atlanta FaZe. Hell of a year out of him. I think this, I don't want to say it was his breakout year, but I think he really turned into a superstar player. Like, he was great. Don't get me wrong, in MW, he was great. Even towards the tail end of Black Ops 4, he was really good. But this year, he proved his consistency is not to be messed with. Like, there are few players that are more consistent at playing at a level as high as him in the game right now, in the league. Cell ended the season coming in at number 2 for overall KD with a whopping 1.15. And what this tells me is he was just flat out dominant from top to bottom in every single game mode. We obviously know the other players that he has on his team. His whole team is just full of superstars. But I think he grew a lot as a player this year, not only in terms of his gameplay, but communication, just as a teammate, understanding how to, help his teammates do well, help his teammates succeed, help compliment them. And he was fucking unbelievable. Like, I wish I could put him higher, and it's hard not to. I think a lot of it has to do with his teammates, because his teammates are on this list as well. And when they're playing as great as they are, there's only so many kills that can go around. There's only so many plays that can be made. But that's why I think he grew so much as a player, because he didn't have to be that unbelievable superstar player game in and game out. But yet, when you look at his stats throughout the entirety of the year, like, he was there. If he was on a different team doing this, people would be talking way more about him. Like, I know people think CELLIUM is one of the best players in the game, but I really do think he kind of got overlooked because of the simps, the ABEZYs on his team. Cell was literally top 10 in every single game mode when it comes down to KD. When you see him move around the map, the way he positions himself, the way he's somehow able to get into chaos and get out and stay alive, it's a work of art. Coming in at number 4, guys, I have none other than Toronto Ultra's main AR. That's Insight. I have him as the best AR in the league. The kid was a game changer for Toronto. He came in stage 2. Their success was unbelievable. People give him a little flack. Some of the pros, not flack. He's definitely considered one of the slowest players in the league, but I think he did his job perfectly. He ended the year with the number 4 overall KD in the league with a 1.13. Insight was holding it down for his team. And I think he really let CAMMY, Kleenex, Bance all shine. Okay, because he was always holding spawns. He was soaking up the time. But while he was doing that, he was also getting kills and not throwing his life away, which is the most important thing for a main AR. Once again, he was Toronto's safety net. I feel like majority of the time, Insight was playing on an island in S&D, which can be very hard. It's definitely doable, and you see a lot of players do it. Slasher was known for it. And if you're very good at playing that island role and being able to not only hold your ground if you get pushed, but also be able to quickly realize when you need to kind of rotate and group up with your team. And I also think Insight was the best in the game at that as well. I think when it came to SND, he was unbelievable. Like, I'm saying unbelievable so many times this video, and I'm sorry, but like, all of these players were just like masterclass. Okay. He was the best island player in the game in S&D. I also think he was the best S&D player in the game. And you could maybe argue some other people, but not only did he have, or did he come in 11th for S&D kills per round, he also ended with the highest S&D KD throughout the league with a 1.24, which is fantastic. In terms of a main AR, he was the most impactful main AR out of anyone in the entire league. He played it absolutely perfectly. I'm surprised that no one else played it as good as him. And I don't know, because like, when you have a main AR, and I heard people talk like Insight is very stationary. Okay, very stationary. But like, the fact that he was able basically be an easy read in terms of, you know, where he's going to be at. You know his spots. Okay. You know he's not going to really hit you with any crazy movement, any crazy mechanics. And he was able to consistently, from hardpoint to S&D to control, to really just keep those games under his control and really help Toronto just play their game. Got to give him number 4 in my opinion. I think he was great. Hands down Rookie of the Year as well. A phenomenal year. One of the best years for a rookie of all time. Next up is number 3, guys, and it is Insight's teammate. One of the most underrated players, I think, in the league. I feel like people really didn't give him that much credit until stage 5, until the major. But it's CAMMY. It's the flex player for the Toronto Ultra. He had one hell of a year. Okay, and I have a lot of stats that I picked because he was at the top in a lot of categories. So CAMMY came in number 11 for overall KD throughout the entirety of the year with a 1.05. And, you know, if you guys are maybe new to the scene, or if you look at it from a very basic point of view where you're like, well, his KD is not that high, number 11, you know, just let me read and I'll try to explain a little bit more about his play style. So he is the flex. Okay, so he's going to be running the sub, running the AR, depending on the map, depending on what his team needs. He's going to be in the mix a lot more than his main AR Insight, right? So he has to possess a certain amount of talent and understanding for the game to be able to make the situations that he gets himself into a positive. Okay, for not only him, but his team. And while in hardpoint, CAMMY didn't have an unbelievable KD by any means. I believe it was a 1.01, which, you know, ranks, I guess, about average if you were just going to look at only KD. But when you realize that he ended number 9 in hardpoint kills per 10 minutes and number 3 in hardpoint damage per game, you really start to see a little bit different of a view on CAMMY when it came to hardpoint. So he, you know, was going even, a little bit above even on average, but he was putting in an insane amount of damage and kills per map when it comes to hardpoint. Okay, a lot of engagements. He's getting in the face of the enemy team. He's making plays. He's giving openings for his teammates. He's helping Insight hold spawns. Okay, because as a flex player, you're tying the pace between your subs and your main AR. That's basically your job. And in some games, you have a flex gun. In other games, like Cold War, you know, there's really just a sub and a main AR. There isn't that flex gun like a bar by any means, or a K bar in Infinite Warfare if you want to go a little bit further back. So the fact that he's able to run both, depending on the map, depending on the hill, get in those engagements, come out on top a lot of the time. He really was just able to relieve pressure for that Toronto Ultra team when they were holding hills, help put the pressure on the enemy teams when they were breaking hills. He's just doing it all when it comes to hardpoint for that Toronto Ultra team. And then moving on to S&D, guys, he ended the year coming in at number 2 for S&D KD with a 1.14, number 5 in S&D kills per round, which, first off, just think about that for a second. Number 2 in KD, which is 1.14, is phenomenal throughout the entirety of the year, but number 5 in kills per round. So not only is he getting an insane amount of kills per round compared to damn near everyone else in the league, he's also able to keep his life alive, which is huge. You don't want to just get a first blood and die. Okay, you take that man advantage you had and you just wash it away. CAMMY was one of the best S&D players all year, and just looking at the stats, it shows. But even when you watched, you guys saw time and time again, not only the amount of plays he was making, the amount of clutches he had, just the overall impact he had for Toronto Ultra. And S&D was their best game mode by far. And I think the biggest takeaway from that is CAMMY was the best flex player in the game. If you say it was CELLIUM, wouldn't argue that. Like I said, I do think it's like a 1A, 1B situation. It is very close, but you just see how versatile he was, because he was running both the sub and the main AR at a very, very efficient rate. But on top of that, you know, if you were to compare him to Cell, you know, he has the damage, he has the kills per round, the kills per map. Like, you know, maybe he had a little bit harder of a workload compared to Cell, because Cell had SIMP and ABEZY. But CAMMY was just Mr. Do-It-All for this Toronto Ultra team. I think it's well deserved that he's top 3, in my opinion. This is the year that Cammy turned into a superstar, and we were all able to witness it. I'm sure by this point, guys, you can guess who the top two are. But for me, number two, and honestly, I wanted to put him number one. I did. But number two, none other than ABEZY. He is the entry fragger, the main submachine gun player, the aggressor on that Atlanta FaZe team. Hell of a year for ABEZY. Not only does he have 2 COD Champs rings, dominated this whole year. And while he was he was gross. I got to stop saying unbelievable. I'm so sorry. He was gross at Black Ops 4. He was gross at Modern Warfare. But I really feel like as each year's went on, he has just put his game together just a little bit more each year. Like, he was great in all 3 years. But like, we're getting to the point now where I think a lot of people are saying ABEZY is better than SIMP. And that's not a shot at SIMP by any means. But for a while, I was like, yeah, ABEZY's really fucking good. Like he's a superstar. SIMP's the greatest sub in the game. SIMP's the best player in the game. ABEZY just turned it up a couple notches this year. And I'll read off a couple of his stats. He ended number 7 when it comes to overall KD, okay, with a 1.09, which, side note, is fucking insane for a player with his role, okay? He is the most aggressive player in the league. He does not care. He is going to push you regardless. And this motherfucker don't miss. ABEZY don't, he plays the hardest role in the game. Okay, let's get that out of the way. He plays the hardest role in the game when it comes to entry fragging as a sub player. To be as consistently dominant as he was is like no other SMG plays like ABEZY. No other SMG can do what ABEZY does. Okay, and if you try to give me another SMG player, I'll tell you right now, that player does not play like ABEZY. He's very unique. His skill set is like 1 in a million. It's rare to see someone really play like him and do as well as him. Just event after event after event. I mean, at this point, it's COD title from COD title from COD title. And then moving on to his bread and butter, that is S&D. He ended number 1 in S&D kills per round. No shocker. Number 2 in S&D KD with a 1.14 behind Insight. But once again, completely different roles. Insight's going to be on an island. He's going to be posted up somewhere with an AR. ABEZY also ended number 1 in S&D first blood percentage with 20.2. It's not even really close when you look at the first blood percentages. So not only was ABEZY doing all this, he was getting your first bloods. He was breaking down the enemy team in situations that seem impossible. And he just made it look like any ordinary gunfight, any ordinary situation. Like it was no biggie for him. I wish I was that good at S&D back when I played, because I wasn't the greatest, but he is just like a savant. If you want to say he's the best S&D player in the game, I wouldn't argue it. I mean, it's hard to argue, to be honest. Insight's got to be up there, but different roles for sure. I will say ABEZY's role in general is the hardest role to master. It's also the most impactful role to play. So he is a huge reason. He is half of the reason that Atlanta FaZe is so, well, now it sounds like I'm kind of giving shots at CELLIUM and RC's, but y'all know what I'm saying, man. The Tiny Terrors, man, they are a huge reason why Atlanta FaZe is so damn good. And then coming in at number 1, guys, it should be no surprise. It is SIMP. Similar to CAMMY and CELLIUM, this is a 1A, 1B situation. It's just too close. And I almost feel like I'm sliding ABEZY, giving him like a number 2, because, bro, he was ridiculous the whole year. His stats prove it. But SIMP, he's just been he's just been doing it for far too long. SIMP was the best player in Modern Warfare, in my opinion. Top 2 player in Black Ops 4, in my opinion. And I have him at the top spot again. I do. Like, this kid is something we've never seen before. I say it all the time, but I truly believe it. He's like the Patrick Mahomes of COD. You think you've seen the greats, you know what I'm saying? And there's been a ton of great Call of Duty players, okay, throughout the years. And then you see SIMP, and you're just like, were these guys great? Because Simp is like breaking barriers. Like what he's doing is just, it's not really seen anymore. The last time we probably saw it was Scump. Like back in the Ghost days, in the AW days. Like it's been a long time since we've seen someone play at his level and play it as consistently as he's played it. Simp ended the year coming in number 1 in overall KD with a whopping 1.17 with that sub. He is ABEZY's other half. Okay, he is a more methodical sub player. He's not crazy aggressive. He's not crazy. I mean, I wouldn't say he's not crazy. He finesses, but he's not like a Shotzi, right? Where you watch and he's finessing with his movement. But the kid is damn smart. He might be one of the smartest, most aware players in the league, if not the smartest, most aware player in the league. He always plays for an advantage. Always. And if he has a disadvantage, he has no problem backing up, taking a step back, re-situating himself, and then literally making you pay for it when you get overzealous or you mess up. If you mess up, Simp's going to capitalize on it 10 out of 10 times. And he's proven that for the damn last 3 years. But most definitely in Cold War. Not only did he come in number 1 for overall KD, he finished number 5 with hardpoint KD with a 1.13. And his S&D fell off a little bit from prior years, but he still ended number 11 overall in S&D KD with a 1.11. And then lastly, control. He ended with the number 1 control KD with a whopping 1.26 and number 1 in control kills per game. And while he might not have had, you know, a lot of high damage categories, I guess, or, you know, kills, that's because the majority of the time, FaZe was winning their games pretty dominantly. Okay, they didn't have those longer games that you know were drawn out where you could rack up those kills. The kid's unbelievable. He's the best player in the game. He's been the best player for the last 2 years. He is next up. Okay, I think Simp, by the end of his career, I think he has potential to be the greatest to ever do it. Now, it's a long ways away, obviously, but I think he's already shot up the rankings at an insane pace. We haven't seen anything like him since Scump, probably, you know, and his nickname's the fucking king for a reason. Got to tip my hat to the kid, all the players on Atlanta FaZe, all the players on Toronto Ultra, because all 5 are part of both teams. And I think it's just hard to argue that. I do. I want to know in the comment section, though, if you guys think someone else deserves a top 5 spot. I feel like my list is pretty spot on. I do. As always, guys, I appreciate the love. We are close to 30,000 subs on YouTube. I believe we're like 150 away or something like that. So if you're rocking with the kid, please go sub. Until next time, guys, I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all. Stay safe. Stay healthy.